Yeah, what are we talking about, boys?
Well, we're doing a little bit of background stuff, get to know a little bit of Aunt Evans growing up. Then we'll talk.
Oh, God, no, really? Who's going to care about that? Fucking hell. Even I don't care about that.
Sometimes it's serious, sometimes it's silly, but at the end of the day, it's just banter, really, with Danger Mouse and Lazy Bet.
Well, fair ladies and fine gentlemen, welcome once again, and thank you for listening to Just Bleed Radio. Hello, and how are you? I'm one half of your hosting duo. My name is Lazybed, and joining me today is the other half of this terrible twosome, my good friend and co-host, Danger Mouse. DM, how we doing, man?
Hey, man, it's all good for me.
Awesome, great. I'm doing great, too. I'm happy to be here, and believe me when I say we are very happy to have you here as well. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're right here with us. So, as you may have heard in the introduction, this is the relaunch of JBR's Just Banter, really. And I tell you what, we got ourselves a treat today, gang. So as we begin, feel free to give the video a thumbs up. If you find yourself enjoying the program, become a subscriber to the Just Bleed Radio Network today. The benefits are bountiful and spaces remain available. Get in on the ground floor. Now then, that's all the fine print out of the way. So without further ado, allow me to introduce our special guest on today's edition of Just Banter, really. He's a man who's had a hand in helping to shape multiple aspects of the modern UFC with over 25 years of time spent in the combat industry as a whole. He's a best-selling author, a content creator of the highest caliber, and he's also the snarkiest moderator in many of your favorite YouTube chats. Ladies and gentlemen, get up out of your seats and give a round of applause as we bring in Aunt Evans. Aunt, my man, how you doing, brother?
Good, man. What an introduction. I owe you a steak dinner or something for that.
Well, maybe we could just do some beers instead. Anyhow, as I just stated, guys, Ant is a man who has worn many a hat within the mixed martial arts and general combat sporting worlds, but he is known most notably for his time spent with the Ultimate Fighting Championship, and rightfully so. This fellow was not only instrumental in the content curation of the UFC Fight Pass and the creation of the UFC Hall of Fame, but he's also worked alongside some of the biggest names in the sport. We'll have ample time to go over that all in a bit, but we've got to start somewhere, so how about we start with the basics? Let's do a bit of banter for the listeners, guys. Now, I would reckon the majority of our audience is familiar with you already, but for the sake of the uninitiated, let's talk backgrounds. So, Ant, I may be uncultured American swine and far from worldly, but I believe I detect a hint of an accent there. From whereabouts do you originate, sir?
Yeah, I'm English. It's weird that you say that the audience should know me. I hope not. I mean, I was supposed to be behind the scenes, and one of my pet peeves during my 15 years of the UFC were people who were staff who just, lost their minds when there was a spotlight anywhere near them, and were tweeting pictures and fighters and stuff. So if people do know me, I guess I was a little bit more egotistical than I thought I was being during the time. But yeah, I'm from England. I started working for the UFC when they opened up the London office in 2007. And then 2011, they were like, "Hey, we need help in America. Do you want to move to America?" I'm like, you know what? I just dumped my fiance, just sold my house, kind of wondering what if I should move to London or not. And I had given a choice between London, where I'd lived before, and Las Vegas. I'd say, you know what? I'll move to Las Vegas. Sounds like an adventure. And here I remain.
That was gonna be a follow-up. I was gonna ask you, still in Vegas?
Yeah, still in Vegas.
If I can just dive in, whereabouts in England are you from, Ant? Because I was trying to place your accent, but the first time I heard you, I was listening to you at 1.25, and I thought you sounded really kind of like Geordie-ish, well, Durham-ish way. But now, once I heard you at normal speed, I think you're, I can't place it, to be honest.
Yeah, well, no one can, including me. I mean, whenever I open my mouth now, I have no idea what I'm going to sound like. I'm like this horrible mix of American and Northern English. So I'm from Newcastle under Lyme in Staffordshire. But things when you move to England, like you just little like it's like I know it's like I wanted to say like guys, I know you can understand me. Why are you pretending you don't? But like you just driving through a Starbucks became this ordeal, and eventually like you try and orders like I don't know a cappuccino, like nothing fancy, and they go what even water. Water, I have to say water. I mean, there's no D in water. It's WATER. No D, much less 2 or 3 of them. It's not water. It's water. But you kind of have to modify your accent to make sense. And I kind of did it. And it's not the kind of thing you can consciously turn off. So I have this horrible mid-Atlantic mix that I sound like I'm from a million places and also nowhere. So that's why you probably couldn't place it.
Okay.
I know one thing. I'm just glad that neither one of you is a Scouser, because I would be in trouble here. All right. Well, so you said 2011 you moved stateside?
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed your time here? Obviously, you stayed all this time.
Yeah. Well, I've got a kid who's, he's English in heart, but he was born here, so I won't be leaving anytime soon.
All right, that makes sense. Oh, actually, that could lead into the next question. Danger Mouse, you got anything?
Oh yeah, sorry. Your own family, is that big or small? Have you got any siblings? Any family at all back home?
Yeah. I mean, all my own family's back home, but I got the opportunity to work for the UFC. Working in the UFC, it was great working on the London cards and Birmingham cards, Manchester cards, and really being there with the rise of Michael Bisping, begging Joe Silva to sign Dan Hardy, but that was all great. I'm really proud of the work we did there. But you get an opportunity to come and work on massive cards, across America, and working with like Pete Chuck Liddell, Rampage, Forrest Griffin, George St. Pierre, and you don't say no when you've got a family back home, siblings back home or not. So that's the decision I made. Which I think everyone listening to the show would go, yeah, no, I'd ditch my my mum and dad and my brother too and move to the States.
Sayonara.
Yeah, I can go hang out with Rampage Jackson in the strip clubs. What am I doing? It's not even a choice.
What was that like for them? Was your family, like, for the most part, understanding of your move over to the States?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's take it back then. Let's take it all the way back to the days of your youth. What kind of kid was a young Ant Evans? Was he rambunctious, cantankerous? Was he quiet, shy? Like, what kind of a youth were you?
Probably a bit of both. Definitely got a mix of being kind of quiet and really loud. Always loved the combat sport. Always my dad got me into boxing. Through the Rocky movies. When my cousin came over one summer with a VHS, which for anyone under the age of 30 actually predates DVDs. It's a tape that you had to rewind before you watched it. And it was of UFC 2. And we started watching. I was thinking like it was just like an import from America, like realistic looking pro wrestling, like cage matches. And what it was instead was real fights. And we were like 2 fights in, and I'm like, hey, cuz I think this is real. I think they're fighting. He goes, yeah, I think you're right. I was like, well, this is 2. They must have done at least one more. Go get that. So we went back that night. And we got from the video store, and we watched UFC 2 and 1 the same night. And then we asked like, hey, where's UFC 3? Like, yeah, there's no such thing. And then what I actually did is, this is how old I am. In the classifieds, no internet, in the classifieds of an MMA, black belt magazine, not even MMA magazine, no such thing. We put an ad in saying, if you live in America and you can tape as UFC 3, 4, whatever, and send it over, we'll pay you. And then it arrives in the mail, and it's completely the wrong size and shape to a British base VHS. So what we did is we had a mate who worked at the local university, and they had access to like all this equipment, and they had an American VCR. So We would literally have to take the VCR up to the university, sit there. It wasn't like downloading it. They would literally have to play the whole 3-hour tape and record it on a British one. Then we'd finally be able to watch UFC 3 and 4.
That's fucking dedication.
What year was that? Would that have been, Anne?
This is 1994.
That's the same year I watched it on VHS as well. So
yeah, 1994, 1995. Yeah.
From Virgin Megastore, possibly.
Probably Virgin Megastore. Yeah. Then they started getting released, but it's only a few. It was few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
But it was easier. It was easier to get them sent over tape traders, and then we discovered that there was a whole subculture of people, and basically what they did as a side hustle was take HBO boxing, Showtime boxing, and then convert it to UK and then sell it to people in the UK. And these guys existed until pretty recently.
Yeah,
like 10, 15 years ago. And yeah, I know. I used to get tapes from boxing from a guy in Ipswich, and he was a cop, and he retired as a cop, took early retirement because he was making so much money doing this bullshit. Crazy.
Yeah, I remember the tape trade days used to be a big thing. Even in like indie wrestling and pro wrestling, you used to
plenty of them. Yeah, because they were just never going to appear on British TV, and there wasn't a big enough audience to take up space in like you say Virgin Megastore. So what do they do? It's
Well, there's still obviously was an audience for it and a demand for it, just not enough to, like you said, sustain that big kind of box store effect.
Yeah.
If I can just quickly jump in, you were into journalism at the first thing, and you've said you were at times quite quiet. I'm guessing you were into reading, so possibly a touch introverted. But what got you into writing?
I was like anything. If you're good at something, you have a little bit of natural talent at something. You kind of pursue that. I can't kick a football from one end of a room to the other with guaranteeing the direction. To this day, I can't. It's embarrassing. My American son is better at soccer than I am. It's humiliating. But I what I was good at was writing, and like a lot of people, I had a teacher named was Miss Thompson, and she probably no longer with us, but she was really encouraging, and I didn't actually think that was going to be something I did because I got a job and it was for £12,000 a year, £12,000 a year in 1999, I think it was, writing for the Sheffield Star.
Oh my God! That's where I'm. That's where I'm from. I was born in Sheffield.
Yeah. So I lived in took a little of student accommodation basically because students had more money than me, which was humbling. But I was like, how do people literally don't have a job have more money than me? But anyway, I took this job and I got fired within a month from it. I was the only guy on the desk, and a nightclub called the Lead Mill. I'm not sure if the Lead Mill's there anymore, but it caught fire.
Mm-hmm.
Caught fire. No one was on. No one was there. No one died. No one got hurt. Just it got caught fire. And I was a big pro wrestling fan at the time, and there was a pro wrestler going by this name. So I wrote the article up, and it appeared in like page 7 or something. And I put Disco Inferno. That's the title. Well, no one apparently thought that was funny other than me. And this grizzly old git, I can't even remember his name, Grimbley or something, had me in his office and was like saying how serious this was. I'm like, all right, what's a better headline? And it's like, nightclub catches fire. I'm like, oh, that's exciting. And I just wasn't having it. Like for no money, I'm not taking this shit. So he was like, you take, do you want this job or not? I'm like, honestly, for the money you paid me, I can take it or leave it. I can take it or leave it. He was all right, we'll leave it. I was like, okay, cool. And I left. So I didn't think that was going to be for me. But then, fortunately, the internet boom happened. I started writing various websites covering boxing, which was, as much fun as I had with the Disco Inferno story, covering local court cases and town fates and various other tiny stories that are happening around Sheffield. Wasn't exactly, wasn't the life I envisioned for myself. So I was happy to be able to cover boxing, and actually make a living from it, at a really pretty young age, early 20s.
By the way, the lead mill closed last month, and
It closed when?
Last month.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, after 45 years.
Oh, wow, that's sad. That was a place, mate. That was a place.
Yeah, it's moving to a new venue apparently, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that establishment, but I do know Disco Inferno. So Disco Fever, baby, Disco Fever.
Disco Fever forever.
All right. Well, this actually is a good segue into my next question, and it's along the lines of jobs, pre-UFC jobs, of course. Well, I guess this could be post. Since working with the UFC or after, what's the wackiest content you were ever paid to create or oversee online content?
Oh, okay. I wish I had a really fun anecdote, but I don't think it's like most of the clients I have now they're all in the combat sports space. So they're MMA, boxing, jiu-jitsu, pro wrestling. I have the most lucrative one right now is US politics, which just does gangbusters numbers. I mean, I hate it. I mean, I wish we could all go back to the days when people thought about, elections and politics like once every 4 or 5 years. And those were better days. Those were better days, especially living in the States where everyone's at each other's throats constantly. Like it's the most vicious football team fight ever between which set of, 60, 70, 8-year-old bastards you support. It's just the most creepy, bizarre, weird thing. Like I love living in this country, even now. But it's the creepiest thing to, especially being a Brit, where like you go to the gym, and you're working out, and Americans have TV screens everywhere. It's like they can't, just amuse themselves when they're on the treadmills or listen to music. They've got to have TV, silent TV. But they've got the news on, so you've got politicians' faces up there. Then you go to the dentist, maybe not straight after the gym, but you go to the dentist maybe the next day. And guess what they've got in the waiting room? They've got TV and they've got the news on, and it's politics.
Yeah.
You go get your oil changed. Well, they've got a great big TV there, and guess what's on? The news, politics. I'm like, this is like North Korea. Like, you can't escape these people's faces anywhere you go. Go in bars, it's there. You go in casinos, it's there. You walk down the street and, on great big screens, it's there. It's literally like being in North Korea. And I've never been to North Korea, but I have been in places like Abu Dhabi. And it's just like that, where you see the same 3 or 4 faces everywhere you go. Creepy as shit, quite honestly.
Yeah, to say the least. And it's like you said, but put it perfectly, getting your entire country riled up behind a couple of old flappy skin bags it's the strangest, most bizarre thing.
Weird. I like the UFC. I like the like friends of mine like it. Ariel Helwani and Pete Carroll give me grief because my job for years was to expand the reach of the UFC to help create more fans, more interest. I'm like, yeah, that was a job, but what I really like is it to go completely underground again and hardly anyone to know about it. That was better. That was better when you could buy a decent ticket to see a world, light heavyweight championship match, for $60, $70, not the buy-in price being like $300, cheapest ticket. Those were better, when you could go online and have a conversation and people wouldn't say things like, yeah, but Ronda Rousey was a complete fraud. She couldn't fight. Who did she ever beat? Or, yeah, GSP, he just couldn't compete with the athletes of today. And you're encountering all these muppets constantly. I'm like, Jesus Christ, my generation should have done a better job at gatekeeping these kids out of here. But yeah, to see a whole generation of young fight fans hero worshipping 80-year-old politicians, I'm like, that ain't cool. I a long time ago now, but I used to be 20, and the people I looked up to were like 20, 22, 25. If you were 30, I thought you were had nothing to offer me, nothing to say that was interesting. Your experiences counted for nothing. the idea of being 20 and hero worshipping people who were like 60 years older than me, like, don't you kids have any dignity? Don't you want to? You realize how uncool you look like?
And it is a strange phenomenon because I know, I wasn't idolizing Bob Dole or fucking Ross Perot or something like that. So
Exactly. Can you imagine what your friends would have said if you did? If you strolled up wearing a Bob Dole t-shirt and a cap? Like, you'd never get to hang out with your friends ever again. I mean, you never get laid. You never get laid.
Yeah, it's true. I hadn't thought of it like that. That's pretty strange.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think about that constantly.
Yeah. Where have all the cool kids gone? Yeah.
Yeah.